Welcome back to the channel, guys. This video is for the young go-hards. I'm talking to you specifically because I see you in the analytics and you're watching the neighborhood videos that we put up. So we're gonna give you another update video on renting, some tips and tricks, because moving across the country, moving from a different city to Denver is new and exciting. But then there's like the adulting part of actually having to move. So if you're looking to rent an apartment or a townhome in the greater Denver metro area, this is the video for you, so stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to the party. I am Sean Murphy, and on this channel we make videos about living in Colorado. It is that simple. That's what we do. We do a lot of real estate stuff because we are realtors. We make neighborhood tours, pros and cons videos. If you are into that and you want more videos on how you can get acclimated, fit in, this is the channel that you want to follow. So still subscribe down there. Even though if you're not looking to buy real estate now, you'll still love our channel and we'll still love you. Pricing is typically going to be the biggest thing that's going to determine what part of the city you're going to live in and what you're going to live in. A studio is a great option because you can be in the new city, get acclimated, and you don't have a new personality right there that you also have to deal living with. So that could be nice, but I understand not everybody has the moolah to live by themselves. And that's why Denver, like a lot of other places on the West Coast, just a roommate city. Now, finding roommates online is great because you have an opportunity to, bump in and meet people from different circles that you might have never bumped into otherwise, which is really great. And social media is nice because it gives you the opportunity to vet them out, see if they look crazy, see if they look clean with their life and their habits, and see if you guys would be compatible. What I did back in the day, and it sounds like I'm older than I am, but I still am old. I came out in 2008, and so we didn't really have Craigslist, was just kind of becoming a thing. So I broke open a newspaper and found people in the news telling you the newspaper. That's so embarrassing to say. I looked at the newspaper and I found a room for rent, and then I went there. The guy seemed normal. It was an older guy that was renting out like 3 bedrooms in his house, and he looked harmless. And so me and a couple other people had moved in. We didn't know each other, and he then turned weird. I couldn't invite any girlfriends over because he was just too weird and creepy. So that's also something that could happen if you're looking for roommates and finding them online. But luckily enough, me and one of the other kids that had moved in, he moved from California, I moved from Ohio. We saw what was going on in the house. This guy was weird. So I don't know, a couple months later, we're like, hey, you want to get the hell out of here? And then we're great friends. I hung out with him actually a couple weekends ago. So yeah, that's a good story, right? And since I am older and so wise, I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't bestow some advice, because there are scammers out there, and it is not a good decision to give people your security deposit for a property that you haven't seen in person. Some of these bigger residential buildings that are very established, they will have you put a deposit down to hold that property, and that is not a bad idea because things can move very fast. In a place that you looked at this morning but wanted to think about, somebody else is coming in this afternoon and they're going to put a deposit down. So an apartment residential building is a little bit different in that regards, but if you're renting a room or renting an apartment or renting a house, if you find something on Zillow or something, beware. Do not send anybody a security deposit, because that's how a lot of scammers will work. So just be leery of that. Zillow is notorious for rental scams. What will happen is a property will be for sale, and then somebody just takes all the pictures and puts it that, hey, this is online on Craigslist, and they say, hey, it's a rental. I'm a doctor. It's one of my investment properties, and I can't be there. I'm in California, but if you send me the deposit, I'll send you the keys, and then we could start the lease. And maybe you drive by it and the property looks empty, which is awesome, but it's actually just because it's empty and it's for sale. So if you send that person the money, you're not getting your keys. And it's so screwed up because people already it's expensive to rent, and then they're taking people's security deposit. Those people can go to hell. If you're looking around the city too, there are companies like Apartment Amigo. Throw back to when we did a video with Chad for Apartment Amigos. It was an apartment relocating company. So kind of like a realtor, but for rentals, in the sense that they had access to a lot of these like bigger properties, these residential buildings, and they knew what their rates were, and they could help show you multiple buildings in one outing and give you the rundown on them instead of having to talk to each building individually, which is kind of nice. Fortunately for Chad, he was able to get a job that he aligned more with his goals, and so he's no longer there. So maybe just check them out, apartmentamigos.com. And if anybody from an Apartment Amigos wants to collab, hit me up. Their service is free to you, and they could really help point you in the right direction to where your budget is best going to be spent to get you the place that you want. A little bit about Apartment Amigo. We talked about the Facebook group. Also, you can use sites like rent.com or I think it's like apartment.com. Just sites that'll have a bunch of listings of rentals in the area. Some of them might be stale, might be old, but they're just showing you what they might have in that building. And typically, if you call them, have that unit available, they're going to try to keep you on the line to help you find something. If you don't think that you're going to be in the position that you're going to be buying a home in the next couple of years, get a lease for the longest period that you can. As long as you're comfortable with the area, that's going to help you like lock in your rate, because like the housing market, prices for rentals are going up and up and up, and it's getting very pricey. So if you can lock in that rate for a longer term, and typically your monthly payment is less, because for the landlord it's an advantage, right? They don't have to worry about advertising for the unit, and they don't have to send maintenance in there to flip the property once you move out. So it's a win-win. Most places are cool with pets because we love dogs in Colorado. And I used to get crap on my videos because I said Denver loves dogs, and people would say nay. There was a pit bull ban, and there's no longer a pit bull ban, but be aware that certain buildings have own breed restrictions. Usually it's a size and a dog breed. Sometimes they're funny about German Shepherds or pit bulls, things like that. So if you have a really big or really beastly good boy, check with the apartment building before you go too far down the process, only to realize that your canine companion can't come. When it comes to pricing, the most expensive areas are going to be right downtown, Rhino, a little bit north of Denver, and then Sloan Lake area to the west, Cherry Creek area to the south. That's where you're going to find the pricier condos and townhomes. The least expensive like city living is traditionally Capitol Hill, because some of these buildings are much older and you won't have the amenities like something that Apartment Amigos would represent, because they're representing larger buildings that have like the pool, the gym, the fitness center, the rooftop deck, stuff like that. But Capitol Hill will just have an old building with no balcony, maybe shared laundry, maybe stuff like that. So it's more financial, but you just don't have all the frills. But if you're cool with that, check out Cap Hill. Going through Cap Hill is a cool path, because you get a little bit of everything in the city. You're close to music venues, you're close to like South Broadway, and they're just like, you're right by everything. We also get a lot of questions about the homeless. Where are those homeless homeboys and homegirls at? Well, a lot of them are going to be really like between, say, like Sphere Avenue and like Park Avenue, from Coors Field to like the Capitol building. But anywhere south of the Capitol, you could see them popping up. And so if you're downtown, you might not have them in front of your building right now, but in 2 weeks when they get kicked out of their current spot, they're going to float over. So people always ask me about safety, and I'm not a great person to tell you what's going to make you feel comfortable. So I think you could check the Denver crime maps, or just come down and walk around the area to make sure you'd be comfortable. And the test that I always have is like, if I would feel comfortable with my girlfriend walking the dog outside by herself at night. Like, that's the threshold. If not, but also like my dogs aren't like tough. And if you haven't been out here for a recon trip, you can check out some of the other videos that we have to get a feel for what areas you might want to see. Popular areas like Rhino, Baker, Uptown, 16th Street, Capitol Hill, Highlands, Low-High. We have videos on all those areas, so go check those out. I'm going to give you 2 pro tips here in a second, but for right now, if you learned anything, give me a thumbs up. Appreciate you appreciating me. Now, 2 big pro tips for you. 1, your bike is not safe. Do not trust it outside or at anything ground level. You would think that the homeless had bike repair shops by how many frames and loose tires and everything that you see sitting around homeless encampments. I'm serious. Either they're really into biking or they're stealing bikes all over the city, and I know it is the latter. Even if it's locked up, they'll cut it. I've seen U-locks cut. They'll steal your tire, they'll steal your seat. Bring your bike inside, put it on your patio, put it something in your bedroom. I don't even trust the residential buildings that have like the bike locker in the garage, because I've seen those get broken into a whole lot. So bikes will get jacked. Don't let your bike get stolen. Now, if you're in a big residential building around downtown, you are just naturally gonna have a building full of dog friends, and those dogs like to piss. And where do they piss? Right outside the building. So if you are on like the garden level, first or second level of a building that is very close to the sidewalk on the exterior, it's gonna smell like piss, because they just can't keep grass alive around these buildings. And then when the sun hits it, it just makes fumes and it stinks. Just a little pro tip. And if you're on the inside of the building and you have a pool, just recognize that that sometimes turns into a party area. Music, sometimes good, sometimes bad, will be bouncing off the concrete walls inside of there. So again, we're a real estate team. If you are looking to buy, give us a call. And if you are looking at the rent to own option or looking to rent a house, talk to us, give us a call for that, because we do work with a cool program on that, but that is what the other video is for, so you can check that one out again. And hope this works. We love you guys. Keep the comments coming, keep the thumbs up coming, and we will see you out here when you actually get out here, because you owe me a beer. I just made that up. You owe me a beer though. Maybe like some tater tots, something.